Hi everyone, in this brief video tutorial, I'm just going to show you how you can host your own Zoom meeting. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, first and foremostly, as you start stepping into doTERRA and sharing this opportunity with other people, you will obviously be encouraging people to come onto the classes. And after the class, we always encourage you to reach out to them to be able to then find out what they enjoyed about the class and if it's something that they're interested in and would they like to get started. Now, one of the best ways to be able to reach out to people is to actually say to them, look, after the class, I'll give you my URL, or at an agreed time, you're going to give them your Zoom link, okay? And that's what this training is about. You being able to know what your Zoom link is, how to find it, and then how to basically be able to copy that and send that to people, and then some basic functionality of the Zoom for you to do for yourself, because you may well be now quite confident at logging onto Zoom and enjoying the classes, but you have to be able to create your own Zoom meeting, whether that just be on a one-on-one with a prospect after the class, which is a great way of then being able to, if they do want to go ahead there and then, you can literally open up your doTERRA back office so that you can register them and then you can share your screen with them so you can actually help to get them registered. So that's one example of how you're going to be using Zoom yourself. And secondly, as you start to grow your team as well, you're going to be communicating much more frequently with the people who are in your team, and Zoom is our primary way of being able to coach and help and support people, because again, it's very personal. You can see each other, you can share screens with each other. It really is a magnificent tool. Okay, so Zoom comes basically as a free account, but it does have a limitation that you can only have a meeting room for 40 minutes, 40 minutes. But you can also get the paid account, which is around about $11.99 a month, UK sterling, which means that you don't have any limit on how long the meeting can last for. But in most cases, the free account is adequate to get started, surely. And I'm just going to show you how you can find your meeting ID so that you can start to step forward. And I'll also show you some of the functionality to help you to be able to know how to share a screen, how to lock the meeting, how to mute participants, etc. if needs be. So let's get started. So once you've got Zoom, then you can just, and I'm showing this based on me working from a desktop. It may be slightly different working on different devices, okay? But this is me on my desktop. I can see I've got the little Zoom blue icon there. So when I click on that, what will happen is you'll notice here that this pops up, okay, and this here is basically the Zoom screen. And you will notice there that it lands on home, but you need to click meetings, okay? So when you click meetings, this is what's going to happen. This is where you will find your personal meeting ID, okay, PMI. And you'll see there mine is 695 947 0658. Okay, so basically you'll notice as well another little red arrow that says copy invitation. Okay, and that's how you would get that. Now, you can schedule meetings, but I tend not to do that. I just tend to use my my personal meeting ID, and then I can send that to anyone at any time, and it's the same unique PMI every single time. So that's where you're going to get your personal meeting ID, and that's what you would then send to people and say, here you go, here's my link, and they can click on that, and then they can come into the Zoom call with you, okay? Now, let me just show you this, because this is something that I have done. I've just opened up a Word document, which I keep on my desktop, and I've actually got some of the frequent Zoom URLs that I need. For example, it's got mine there, Neil's, and Deborah's, and Paula's, because of course all of us are presenters who actually run the online classes for the team. So I can easily open my document at any time. I can quickly get any one of these Zoom links, and I can I can send it to someone, or I've got access it for myself. Okay, so it's a very, very easy way to help you to get a little bit organized. Okay, so just some of the features that you might be interested in as well. You'll notice here where the red arrow is, there's like a little wheel, and that's the settings wheel. Okay, and if you click on that, then basically it's going to take you into the settings. Now, it will automatically load on the general settings tab, and I've actually clicked onto the video one here. And the reason why I'm doing this is we have so many ladies in the team, and you might really value this little feature, because you'll notice on the list of opportunities you have to tick and select, there's one there that says touch up my appearance. Okay, so that can help to smooth out a little bit of the let's say the lacking in quality of the video. Okay, so that's a great little feature to actually tick. Okay, you'll notice there's a few other little boxes I've got ticked there as well. Okay, always display participants' names on the video, etc. So there's some functionality. I'm not going to go into this as a very basic one, but I'm just letting you know that you do have some features in there, but I thought you really might appreciate that one in particular. Okay, so let's now talk about the share facility. You'll notice where the red arrow is there now on the screen, that if you move your mouse over the bottom of the screen, you'll find that the Zoom toolbar will either appear at the bottom or it'll appear at the top. I think it just depends on your device, okay? On mine, it's at the bottom. You'll notice there is some functionality. You'll notice looking from left to right, you've got the mute and the stop video. So at any time, if I was to be on a Zoom and, somebody... I didn't want someone to hear what I was about to say in some way for whatever reason. Someone might ring me just at that moment. I say, "Oh, excuse me a minute. I just need to take this call," or something like that. I could just tick on the mute, and then the people who were on the call wouldn't hear what I'm saying because it would mute the line. Okay, on Zoom. Exactly the same with the video. If you want to turn off the video, you can just click there and put a red line through the video, or untick it again, for that to be turned back on. You'll notice along the bottom as well, these are the ones that I use the most. You'll notice the share button. So let's just focus on that for the moment, because this is the great thing about Zoom, is that we can share our screen. So what happens is, if you're going to share your screen, it pays you to, before you've opened up Zoom, to actually have the document. If you do know what it is that you're going to share, it can be useful, okay, just to have it, because it will be sitting behind the Zoom screen, if that makes sense. So when you click share, then you'll notice that, for example, I've got a few different windows open, if you like, on my desktop, even though I've launched this Zoom meeting, and you'll notice there you'll see the one that you want. You'll tick on it, and it'll put the blue box around it, okay, and then you can just hit the share button bottom right, and then basically it's gonna open like this. But it will open not in presentation mode. Okay, so you'll notice at the bottom of the screen there, you'll see like what looks like a little screen. If you click on that, then that will then open up so that it's taking the full page and you're not seeing the other slides that might be down the side. So if I click that there now, you'll notice that it loads up on the screen, and it'll just have a little thumbnail image of your video there, that as you talk through that, which of course you can turn on and off. Okay, so that's the screen feature, and you can see the little red button at the top there that says stop share. Okay, which is really straightforward. So you can click on that and it'll take the share off. So let's come back to the toolbar again just for a second, and now let's just look at one of the other tabs, which is manage participants. Okay, this is useful. So when you click on that, you'll notice it actually brings up on the left of the screen here, it brings up where you can mute people. Okay, and you can appreciate this is exactly what we do before the class starts. So everyone's coming on and everyone's chatting, etc. And then when we're ready to get started, we just click manage participants. It gives us access to mute all, okay, or unmute. Okay, so that's how we can control that as well. If somebody comes into the call late, okay, they may not be muted. So if you suddenly hear a little bit of someone chatting over the top of you, and you think, well, I've already muted people, it could be because they've come in after the meeting started. Okay, so that's where you would just go back to manage participants. You just click mute all, and then the stragglers, it would then mute them, as it were. Okay, so you'll notice another little red thing where it says you can click on more. So if you click on more, then it actually brings up a little bit of some additional features there. One that can be useful, especially, let's say, if you and I were doing a one-on-one now, and because I give my link out to a few people, some people might be clicking on the link just to test it before they're due to join a class or something. and you have an opportunity to lock the meeting. Okay, so for example, this can also be useful when you want to record, as I'm doing now. I've locked the meeting so that nobody can come in the middle of me actually recording. Okay, so that's a useful little facility as well. Now, you'll notice the chat facility as well on the toolbar. So if you click on the chat button, you will notice that it opens up the chat on the screen. And the little red arrow at the bottom, you'll see that it's actually got a little drop-down menu where it says everyone, or if there was more than one person on the call, if you click on that little drop-down, it would actually show you a list of everybody that's on there. So you could actually select the person's name that you want to, and by doing that, what it could actually do is it would enable you to send a message specifically to them in private mode, so everyone else wouldn't see that. Okay, or you can just leave it to everyone, and that's the way that that would work. Okay, so one of the ways that I absolutely love using the chat facility is if I am sharing my screen with someone and I am looking to get them registered, what I actually do is I'll maybe just put into the chat bar hello. That will then pop up on their side, and then I can ask them to type in their full name, their address, their postcode, and I can then just go in and copy it, and then I can actually put it into the doTERRA registration page. That way I don't get any mistakes with spelling, etc. Okay, so I hope you've gotten some value from this little brief video tutorial on how you can find your personal meeting ID so you can use that to send to people, and also how you can use some very basic operation of Zoom. Okay, thanks ever so much, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you very, very soon.